We need to talk about your balls. Are they smooth or covered in bits of annoying fluff? These are my balls. See how they glisten in the light? Your balls can be like these, but you gotta use the right tools for the job. This? No. This? No. This! Only if that's what you're into. Balls are delicate, sensitive, easy to damage. Someone's taken a chunk out of that one. That's why I use the Lawnmower 4.0. It's got skin-safe technology with a replaceable ceramic blade, so you can trim with confidence. It's got an LED light, so you can always see what you're doing. Lights, please! And what's more, it's got a wireless charging system and it's waterproof. You can even drop it in your pint. You wouldn't want to drink it, though. It's got pubes in it. The Manscaped lawnmower is trusted by over 2 million men worldwide. That's over 4 million balls. Isn't it time you joined them and use the right tools for the job? Because when it comes to balls, you don't want to muck about.
Go to manscaped.com and check out the all-new Lawnmower 4.0 and receive free shipping.
Hello and welcome to another episode of 4 Tims in a Podcast. We're all on tonight just after Celtic's Europa League game, where we've taken a 4-0 defeat at home to Bayer Leverkusen. Tony, it was a game that before it we were all pretty resigned to a defeat, probably a convincing one. I know we were game predictions trying to be as positive as we possibly could, but are you surprised with the result? And how do you think we played overall?
No, I'm not surprised at all. I think you tried to give positive predictions. I predicted 3-1 or 4-1. No, I'm not surprised in any way, shape or form. We come up against not just a good team, a good club. You're not a well-run club. We all know that. It's very evident, and that has resulted on us not having a capable team / squad. So, no, I thought the Germans played well at times. They zipped it about really well. I know we had chances, but if it wasn't for Hart, they scored 6. I think we got what we deserved. I think this is the kind of results Dermot Desmond and the board deserve. I think they deserve to be taken apart by proper, good European opposition. But you look at the first goal, a silly mistake by Turnbull. You get punished. You probably get punished after most teams for something as stupid as that. Second one, probably need to look at the manager. He's still trying to play Anthony Ralston as an inverted wing back. Doesn't work. He's not good enough. Loses a ball when they counter with good pace, and it's a great goal. I thought Hart was unlucky not to save it. Third goal, I thought was a stonewall penalty for where I was sitting. I've not seen the replay. Fourth goal, they're still bombing forward in the 94th minute. Probably a fitter team, stronger team, and it's a good finish. It's past Hart before we know it. But you can't be any Celtic fan surprised at this. I think we've been duped, unfortunately, by the board. I think in January they announced Lawwell was leaving, February they announced Lennon was leaving, and Dominic Mackay was coming in. He phoned the podcast, he was talking about his vision. It was all we're going to get the fans involved, we're going to communicate better. They've sacked him. They've tried to throw Eddie Howe under the bus, and I've said before, I don't believe a word that comes out of the club. I think they just lie. I think they're lying to the fans, and I think we've been sold a rebuild, which is non-existent. I know people obviously a lot of pressure's already on the manager. Some people want him sacked. That's fair enough. The results haven't been good enough for me. I'm still wanting to give him a chance, but I did say this previously. I says you can say you'll give him a chance, but if Aberdeen beat us on Sunday, do you still give him a chance? I don't know, but as a case for me now, when Lennon was the manager, I thought if you sacked him, we could go an Eddie Howe or somebody with a bit of pedigree. I don't think any manager in world football that's worth anything would want to come and manage Celtic. I mean, with Dermot Desmond there and that board, and if you're going to have the coaching staff forced on you as well, it's no proper. I mean, I remember when Celtic were talking about the Eddie Howe thing and they were saying he was going to get a clean slate. Why did Postecoglou not get that? Why was Postecoglou given? I mean, Griffiths got a new deal, and look what he's doing now. The backroom staff's not changed. So, and then you've got Gordon Strachan for some reasons, get a consultancy always. He's obviously close with Dermot Desmond. I think at the moment we're just a kind of a toy for Dermot Desmond, and he just does what he wants. He doesn't care. He's as I say, I mean, this guy's a billionaire. And he just fucks about with us. I mean, McCarthy in a 4-year deal. I mean, whose idea was that? And that's the thing. When Mackay came in, he was talking about the chance to speak to Ange at press conferences. And that's not me saying that 4 Tims in a podcast, I've got a God-given right to go to any press conferences. Not at all. But this is what they were kind of promised. And I've said it before, all we've had since is invites to speak to the B team and the women's team. Now, no disrespect to them, I think they're probably doing better than the first team. I might start fucking going to the press conferences. They might actually have some positives to share, but it doesn't really allow anybody to hold the club to account. I don't think they speak to the fan groups. I don't think they speak to the Celtic Trust anymore, or Celtic Shared, or the bhoys, or the GB. I mean, so it's just, we've kind of went full circle, where we're kind of back to the results in the past kind of good enough. There's questions being asked to the manager, and the board are just hiding. This new CEO, I don't think he's released a statement yet. This is it Michael Nicholson? But again, he's another kind of puppet by Desmond, the same way Lowell was. And these guys are making hundreds of thousands a year, or maybe even millions. So they're not going to come out and rock the boat. I think that Mackay was going to, and I think Celtic have tried to present a narrative that he wasn't good enough for the job, and I don't believe it at all. I don't, as I say, I think they're duping the fans, and I think I don't think we're going anywhere fast. I think the league is of poor standard, but we're struggling against teams like Dundee United and Livingston, Hearts, obviously Rangers beat us as well. I've said already that I still don't think Rangers have started the season. They've not kicked into gear yet, which should be a major concern for us, because they're already 6 points ahead. So what's it going to be like once they kick into form? But no, nothing about tonight surprised me. I mean, a 4-0 drubbing by a superior club, a superior run club would be my thinking. They've got a better board than us, I've no doubt about that. They've got a better system. I'm sure they've got all the right people in place. We don't. The only thing I think, the only competent person at the minute at Celtic Park is John Paul Taylor, and he's the fans liaison officer. So that tells you where we are. I don't know about you. I know we missed a few chances, but I think Leverkusen well deserved their victory. Maybe it wasn't a 4-0 game, but I don't have any complaints whatsoever.
You covered quite a bit there, but Danny, just what Tony said at the end there was something I was going to pick up on. It's always easy saying it. I don't think it was a 4-0 game, because a couple of things. I think that there was a stage in the first half, a stage in the second half where Celtic were arguably the better team for a sort of short period of time. And their keeper, I felt, made maybe four. After that, made four top potential world class saves, and that can be the fine margin between sort of Celtic getting a couple of goals in the sheet. And when you get a goal in a game, if you get one in the first half, it changes the dynamic. It changes a lot. End of the day, we lost the game, lost the 4-0. But do you think that there's anything there that you're coming away finding anything that you can think, wait a minute, like getting into Sunday, listen, Aberdeen are the team at Bayer Leverkusen, I don't see us progressing in the Europa League, and I think if anything, and if we maybe finish Varos, and hopefully we drop into the Conference League, I'd be very, very, very surprised if we played a team at their level for the rest of the season, right? But what I mean, Dan, is that no many teams will be able to, and I don't even think they were outstanding tonight. I think they just punished their mistakes, but there will not be many teams who are that good that we'll come up against, if any, for the remainder of the season, bar when we play them in the return leg, Danny. But do you feel any sort of positive, given that maybe in another day we have scored 2, 3, potentially 4 goals if it wasn't for their keeper?
It's hard to be positive after a 4-0 defeat at home. Listen, growing up watching Celtic in Europe, losing 4 goals at home's terrible. Should never happen, but should is the key word. How it's been allowed to happen, I don't think is the fault of the manager. You could argue his tactics opened us up to against a superior team, which fair enough, but look at the shite, look at the tools he's got to build with. At the minute, it's no good enough. Tony hit the nail on the head about it, spot on. But you know, it was a tough watch tonight, but goals change games, Andy. You know what I mean? It's a daft cliche, but it's true. We were right in that game until the first goal. We were competing well. Leverkusen had a few chances, but so did we. Their keeper, Hidreki, I think Hidreki, is that his name? He's pulled off, in my opinion, 2 world-class saves the night. One for Kyogo to start the second half, and one for Starfelt that took a deflection. I mean, genuine world-class saves that no many keepers in the world make, or good keepers make them on good nights. And I thought he had 2 world-class saves, and I thought he had 3 other very good saves, maybe 4. I think the one for Kyogo in the second minute when he rounded him, I think he just got a touch on that, and Kyogo's had to hurdle him. So as Kyogo's hurdled him, Taz got back really well and made a good tackle, and where it looked like Kyogo was going to have a tap in. The one-on-one for Kyogo's done everything right, but score he's went hard, low and hard back across the keeper. It's actually under him, and it's hit his foot in the way down, and he's pulled off a great save. So on and on night, of course, no every team is going to have a goalkeeper like that, but it's the same mistakes. And when you're right in these games, like we are, and you're competing, you could sense the crowd about 20-25 in. You could sense the crowd were right up for it and thinking, God, this could be one of these famous nights that they always talk about. This is a good team we're playing, but you know what? We're going toe to toe with them. We're creating as many chances. We're forcing their keeper into saves. We look a bit dodgy at the back, but we're going right at it. And then Turnbull, I think he's trying to dummy the ball and let it run out for a goal kick, but I think it's hit him and he shit himself and tried to get back in position and fell out. And the boy back has picked out his mate who's put it into an empty net via Montgomery, but it was going in anyway. And we've been making them mistakes for years. This isn't a thing that's happened under Ange. This happened under Len. It happened under Rodgers. I was thinking about Rodgers, about Gladbach at home. There was another game I was thinking about Rodgers, where you're competing with these teams and then you make a mistake, and then we go to shite. It was the same with Salzburg away and Leipzig away in the Europa League in Rodgers' final season or off season. When they game, I know we scored early in Salzburg, but as soon as we lose a goal, it's just for the next 10 minutes, it's just absolutely fucking mental. And the night again, you're in the game, you're competing, you lose a goal, and then for the next 10 minutes, it was just crazy. And then the second goal, don't know if any of you have got to see it again, but Starfelt it goes on a sponsored walk or a sponsored run, I've absolutely fucking no idea where he's going. It's like that David Weir photo for years ago. It's just utterly bizarre what he's done, and it's not even particularly his fault either, because Ralston gives a ball away sloppily, but he shouldn't really be there. I know this whole inverted fullback thing, right? And I know I try and not blame Ange for this because I know he's been dealt a shitty horn, but how can our fullbacks not just hold their position whilst we've got the ball 20 yards out for our goal? It's like you're not even fucking trying to improve with this system. Like, just move the 2 fullbacks back, let McGregor go get the ball, and then see when things improve, then you can maybe keep fucking trying it. But it's just no working. And then fucking Starfelt goes on his sponsored walk and whatever. But at half time, I was really deflated because I'm thinking, we've got right up for it. And, it was like Betis. It was like Betis all over again. As soon as something goes wrong in this team, they just fold. And it's no Ange's fault. This has been happening for years. It happened under Dyla. It happened under Lennon. It happened under Lennon in Europe a lot in Lennon's first spell. And then it happened under Dyla an awful lot. And then it happened to Rodgers in Europe. When as soon as anything went wrong, it was panic stations for 10 minutes, and then we composed, and then like it happened again with Lennon when he came back, and it's happening now. Something's not right, and maybe it's just the characters at the club aren't they right or whatever. But like as Tony says, we forced our keeper into hundreds of saves, but you can have no complaints that a vastly superior team, a better run club, have turned up. And I mean, they could have scored a few more as well, don't get me wrong. Joe Hart had a couple of great saves. Starfelt, for all his faults, had a really good block in the first half. But, at the same time, did you ever get the feeling that Leverkusen were going full proper at it? I thought when we had them under the cosh, they looked a wee bit rattled, but I thought for the most of the game, Andy, they just played within themselves.
I think you're right, Danny, in the sense that I don't think they were sort of at full throttle tonight. Like I felt as if during the whole game, this mob have got a couple more gears in them. But they are a really, really good side. But my biggest issue is the fact that Celtic, not even in Europe, just Celtic across the board, and it's not even just probably not even a criticism just at sort of Angie's team recently. We're always our worst enemy. We always play ourselves into trouble, make wee daft mistakes that are punished, don't punish other teams when they make the mistakes. It's all these wee things that change games, that change the sort of the way things are going, that sort of take the wind out your sail. It's all these fine margins that games are won by. But darn, it was something that I listened to, obviously, the post-match presser, and it was just something that I thought when Danny was talking, there's something that came up. In terms of the questions being levelled at Ange, which, listen, I'm not having a go at the man, but I think it's legitimate questions to ask about the way he's sort of setting the team up, the way he's trying to play the game. But I think back to even when there was success, even when the team were sort of undefeated domestically and things like that, the same things were said towards Rodgers. I don't know if you'll remember yourself, but obviously Danny highlighted the Gladbach games. I feel as if it's the same questions that are being asked, like, will you change your style of play? Will you change your philosophy? Why are you going and trying to play football against these teams? And do you think that's just something that's levelled at us? Because I don't really hear that ever anywhere else, that why changing your philosophy and the way you want to play the game just because you're playing X team, if that makes sense.
I don't know. I think obviously it's very much. I can see why the questions have been asked to Ange in terms of that, Andy, because I think it is even more sort of expansive and different to what we were used to, like even compared to what Rodgers tried to do when it was just a sort of more simplified version of playing out from the back, whereas like as we've been speaking about, it is just like inverted fullbacks and like a completely new system that people are looking to see. And like I'll be honest, I think the questions are fair. I'm a massive fan of Ange, and I've made that quite clear on here previous times. But at the same time, that's now 2 games we've played in the Europa League, and it's 8 goals conceded. Like we were on here 12 months ago going through Neil Lennon's team for the same thing, because they were just like completely shipping goals at will, and it can't continue. Like, and it's either going to have to be something where you either get players more used to the system, or they just gradually get better at implementing it, or Ange is going to have to sort of tinker it a bit, because we've won less than 50% of points available to us in the league. And as I said, we've conceded 8 goals in the first 2 Europa League games. So I know Betis and Leverkusen are obviously high quality teams, and that could have happened. But I'll be honest, I do think it's fair. Like, I think Ange looks like the type of manager who's going to either live by the sword and die by the sword. And I desperately hope it does work for him, because I really like him. And my only issue would be, Andy, is that I just don't think that we've got the players to facilitate this system that he wants to play, specifically in the fullback area. I thought the night that Anthony Ralston and Adam Montgomery were just woefully exposed at that level. And it's good seeing the academy boys in the team, but it's only good seeing academy boys in the team when they're at the level of Callum McGregor and Kieran Tierney, James Forrest, guys like that. Like, because I just, like, especially when you're trying to implement this completely new system, you're teaching these players new sort of roles. It's just, I know we're probably unlucky because, like, say, Juranovic and Greg Taylor and whatnot are missing, but at the same time, I do think you need to look at that and say, are these players capable of implementing this, or is it a case of you just keep trying, or you do actually make the change? And because it's going to be a long 3.5 months until the transfer window opens if you're looking to get more players in. And I know some players will come back from injury and hopefully sooner, but I don't think it was as much an issue tonight. like in terms of the way we played, I do agree that I thought Leverkusen were very much in second gear the whole game. I don't think, like, I thought they took their chances well, but I thought Celtic gifted them it. I thought, especially first goal, as Danny said, Turnbull gets in a bit of a mess. It sort of summed up his first half. It was just pretty poor, and it's pretty easy finish for Leverkusen. It's the type of chances that teams at that level will capitalise on. But at half time, I was a bit deflated for it could have been what it ended up, which was 4-0. But I actually thought we started the second half really well. Kyogo has another great chance, and it's a great save. I actually thought that Hideki and Joe Hart were the two best players on the pitch. I thought they were both really good tonight, and I felt that sort of was all that we were missing tonight. Like, I feel like if we had either got the first goal or the first goal in the second half, it could have been different. I just feel it was that sort of way where it was a good atmosphere, and like, a goal would have just really sparked it into like something phenomenal. And it's just obviously you've then got them getting a penalty with realistically their first attack in the second half, and it sort of killed the game. And I don't know, it's a really tough one to take, but it's sort of finding the balance where who you should be mad at. Like, obviously Tony spoke about a lot of what's wrong at the club at the top of the episode, and I completely agree with what he's saying, but it's now a case of, in my opinion, I think we still need to stick with the way Ange wants to go, because I think Tony mentioned people who aren't really contributing to the club. I think Ange is doing his all to try and turn us into something, and I get that it's not working in every aspect of the club, but I think that there's nothing more the board would love than if it came to it and Ange went, that he's going to look like the one that takes the blame for it, when as of the years I've mentioned, the club's just been run terribly, and Ange is sort of just the man. And I think it was Meyer on Twitter that called him, he's like the human shield it is for some criticism to the board, because Ange is just seen as the guy in the dugout who's behind it all. But I know I've rambled a bit again, Andy, but I just think there's just much more problems than what formation Ange plays at the moment.
I think you're completely right. Like, the reality is, regardless of what formation you try to play, a lot of it depends upon the personnel that you've got to do that. Like, there's very limited football players in that team. Like, let's be honest. Like, I know he had a wee bump at his wee sort of spike at the start of the season. I don't want to just level all the blame at him, but Anthony Ralston isn't a Celtic right back. He's not good enough to be a Celtic right back, and he's a very limited football player. But he tries hard. Like, that doesn't compensate for the lack of football ability. And it's not just him. There's plenty more throughout the team, like James McCarthy-Salmon, who I just think's a fucking shite football player for Celtic. Like, he's never going to be the player that people thought we were getting. Like, guys like Beaton coming off the bench, all the rest of it. I could go on and on and on about the team, but it's so many deficiencies in the players that Ange's got, and the cards that he's been dealt. And like, Maya's right, you're right. We've got a team who, listen, Ange just signed quite a few players. Obviously, I fuck knows how we ended up with so many injuries and all the rest of it. And we were unlucky, but for the most part, I think the players that he's brought in seem like good additions to the team. Like, you can say, obviously, I'm not happy with the McCarthy signing, but when I look at Kyogo and Abada and Yota, like the guys that we've seen enough of, I think really good additions. But then there's not been enough, because one, we let go a lot of fucking players. We let go. There was first teamers going out, there was contracts ending, there was sales, all the rest of it. That we didn't replace them all. Didn't sign players that were necessary. And he was left with young boys who I felt really bad for. And Danny, I know you agreed that Montgomery, who, listen, he didn't have a good game. Didn't think he did have a good game at the weekend either. But I felt really bad for the boy, because he shouldn't be in that position. He shouldn't be the boy starting at left back in a Celtic team who have been pish poor for quite a wee while now. Yeah, the last couple of games against this season a rampant Bayer Leverkusen side. But I mean, he's already out of position. Like, he's not a left back. and he wasn't a left back in his way through, regardless of what's been said already. But it's a strange one. But something I wanted to, I'll come to you here, Danny. It's something I wanted to bring up to you, and it sort of relates to my point about we didn't replace and we didn't sign what was required, and that really has been dealt a shite on because he's still got fucking numpties for the Lennon team and all the rest of it. But we're sort of, I feel as if he's forced into the sort of place where he has to play Tumble and Rogic. Now, listen, both of them in their own right, I think, very good football players with the ball, but they're luxury, and I don't think. I mean, I don't think in many football teams in the world you can afford more than one luxury player like that. But Danny, I think particularly in a system like this, and there was a couple of times tonight I picked up on Kyogo's trying to urge them behind him to press with him, to come with him. In that team, the unit, what we're trying to implement, you need to be able to do that. You need to go as a unit, you need to press it, and it's got to be that high energy, high tempo, and just fucking work your ass off for each other. I don't think we can do that with A2 in the team, but I feel as if we're sort of we've not really got any alternatives because we need players who can go forward. There's no use in having the only real alternative to them is if you take, say, Tumble or Rogic and you put either Sorrow or Beaton in. I don't think there's any alternative to that, Danny, and I really do think that hampers us so much. Not just tonight, but in the last couple of games I've seen.
Aye, no, you're completely right, Andy. You're right. Rogic and Tumble, it's becoming the Lambert and Lennon and the Gerrard Lampard question. Can they play in the same team together? I'd love to see him just switch the two of them. Have Tumble on the right and Rogic on the left, because Tumble can't play on the left. He's always shifting on his right foot, which results in like pot shots wide or out of bar. He's always, he never looks comfortable coming off the left. I know he's playing the middle of the park, but he's playing primarily on the left. Rogic always does the same thing. He ball breaks to him on the right. If he can't get turned on his left, he just runs with it and then gives it to the right winger too late. I just switch him up. Let's see Tumble on the right, being able to smack the ball across goal. Rogic can do the same. Do I think the two of them can play together? Probably no. What's the alternatives? I mean, fucking Lukaku O'Connell's sitting playing League One football with Queen's Park. Looks quite good at it. Obviously, it's a lower level, but is he no worth maybe 20 minutes in a game at home against somebody, or a game away when you're looking for something else? The fucking boy was commanding a place in the Championship with Bolton, who were shite, but he was playing, I think he'd played something like 15, 20 games before Celtic signed him. It was highly thought of, and now he's playing for Queen's Park. The boy Lawal, who they got for Watford, they seem to be quite disappointed he was away. I think Troy Deeney had a lot of nice things to say about him as a player, and we've signed him for the B team. But seeing as Myers get quite a mention so far, he spoke to me after the game tonight, and he made a great point. It's no that Rogic and Tumble, he can't press with the two of them, right? Because they've not got the legs for it. But no, even that, they don't offer anything defensively. So look at, I'm stealing his expert analysis here, but look at Kamara and Davis, right, who are the offside. They don't press relentlessly, but they know where the fucking danger is, and they cover the ground well enough. They don't. You never. I know they get beat tonight and they looked really bad, and they've looked bad all season. But there were about 20 minutes tonight where Sparta Prague could have scored 3 or 4. But you very rarely see them and you think they're not very good. But you very rarely see them and go, they're getting overrun here, and it's because they've got players in midfield that can cover ground. We don't, and the problem with Rogic and Tumble is they're ball players. They don't offer anything. You can arguably, in a high pressing system, right, or a structured system, you can arguably have a space for one player who gets a free roll. Try to think of famous examples, but kind of like Mahrez at Leicester when they won the league. There'll be a few others that'll hit. Aye, well, the rest of the team have got their job, and then you rely on. But there's a lot of pressure in that guy, and I don't. Could it be Tumble? I don't know. Could it be Rogic? I don't know. I think it's a player we need to sign. But I think we need I'm going to sound like a hypocrite here, because when I watched the first 45 minutes against Midfield at the start of the season, right, and there was this fucking inverted fullback and all that, we all said that, oh, look what Ange can do. Look, imagine what this guy can do if we actually backed him. But we haven't backed him. So, and the transfer window's shut, so I'm going back in an old point, but we've no backed him. So, to me, the onus is now on him. It can't be shite like this, right? We can't be getting beat 4-0 every week, but you're having that 25-30 minutes where you think, fuck me, look what's happening here. We actually look quite good. So there's got to be a stopgap until January at least. For me, that's pulling the two fullbacks out, and I would give the boy Lawala a shot. I've not watched much AB team, so I would be lying if I said I'd watched a lot. I think he gets about the part well, and he looks like he can carry the ball. Sorrow's just know the answer. He's no got the composure. See, when you talk about having a destroyer in there, right, you might automatically think, oh look, Sorrow gets about the grunt and that. He's got no composure. He's a walking yellow card. The fouls that he gives away are comically bad. Like, I was quite a fan of Sorrow's until the last couple of games. Diced with danger and Betis. Should have got sent off. The day night at the weekend when he came on, just abysmal. The signing a good player, especially midfielders, is the way they take the ball. And look at McGregor. He's very rarely flustered. When he gets the ball, he knows where he's going with. Sorrow plays the entire game on the stretch. And as a central midfielder, that's just fucking unacceptable. So I don't think he's the answer, but I think the two stopgaps I would do until January are pull the fullbacks out and see when we've got the ball fucking 20 yards out for goal. Aye, go and stand in midfield, but don't be doing it when we've got the fucking ball outside their own box. Let McGregor go get the ball, and then he needs to find a solution. And I might get shot down for this, but a solution might be near beaten in the middle of the park. It might be near beaten in the middle of the park, but he needs to find a solution, and because you're not going to look what's happened in the league. We're not scoring 5 goals every week, and sometimes we're only getting 1, sometimes we're not scoring. Look what's happening. Other teams are exploiting us at the back. I know we all said it's kamikaze football and live by the sword, die by the sword, and we're all in with Ange. Like, the 4 of us, if you were to say to us, do you want rid of Ange? I don't think any of us would say aye. We're all right behind him, but he's no been backed. So all this, imagine what would happen if he was backed. Well, do you know what? He's not been backed. So the onus is now on him until January at least to find a solution. Because we've seen the fucking the 25 minutes at the start of the game until Leverkusen scored. You compete with a decent team. The only time I've thought this inverted fullback thing, like, had something was properly happening with it, was Juranovic and Betis. I thought the guy had a really good game at left back, but now the onus is on us to find solutions to these problems. We're too lightweight in midfield. McGregor's he's not a Todd midfielder. He could maybe sit all day long, keep the ball, but he doesn't break up play. He doesn't. He covers a lot of ground. He's fit as fuck, but he doesn't break the play up. We need a destroyer in there that doesn't give away stupid fouls, but do you know what? Knows where the danger is and how to stop it. So he's got a couple of big choices to make. He's got a couple of big decisions. Because if he doesn't make them, and then, I mean, there's only so long you can blame a board. As much as I want to come on here and be like Tony and get right through a board, because ultimately they are at fault, right? They gave the guy a job a month too late. They never gave me tools. He went into Champions League with Dane Murray and Stephen Welsh. It's a shit show, but there's only so long you can keep saying that without actually, do you know what? Aye, right, that's the cause, fair enough, but he's still making the same mistakes every week, and he's not going to get away with that much longer, I'm afraid.
But Danny, let's say for example, he loses on Sunday or doesn't he win, which is possible. But what happens then? Do we sack him and bring in Roy Keane or Gordon Strachan, or do we just turn our focus into ousting the board? And obviously, the guys that Celtic shared last year obviously try to come up with stuff. Do you go to that where the fans go, what if Postecoglou goes, no, what, you're right, I've not been back to months away. Where do we go there? I think he's set up to fail.
Well, I agree with you. And I think the narrative set by Celtic that Mackay was a dud and Postecoglou was his man. But what happens if we don't? I think we don't win on Sunday. The pressures. If they win on Sunday and we don't, the pressure's on. We're enough 3 points further behind. You need. There's got to be a point where you pull the plug. It wouldn't be me, but if St Johnstone were to beat us in the cup, I would be shocked if he was still there. But
for fucking so many big games before St Johnstone.
I know.
Because you've got so many big games before that. I just think.
But you know, the height of the board's ambition will be Strachan, Anil, or Keane, right? So Maya, I said it earlier. Maya said it on Twitter and all. He'll be loving this. I know he tunes in. He'll be buzzing. He's the fifth Beatle. But a lot of the stuff with Ange, and I believe this to be true as well, and I don't know if you are the same, it's a lot of pent-up frustration. So I think Maya said this, and I agree with him, and I think this is true. I don't know if you three agree, but a lot of the anger at Postecoglou now, I think most of it is boiled down to the fact that we didn't get to criticise Lennon last year. We didn't get to go at the board last year. I know there were a few protests, but you didn't get that chance at Parkhead to have your say on what was going on. And a lot of folk have been carrying that for the last year or whatever, and now it's coming out. Because I thought, I wasn't at the game on Sunday, but Darren will back us up here. Wee Andy that listens in and that, a good friend of the show, he said it was fucking toxic. And I think there's a hangover for last year, and I think Maya's 100% right. Postecoglou's a shield for the board, and some fans that were late to the party with Lennon, let's be honest, a lot of fans were very, very late to that particular party. I think they're the biggest ones that are like, oh no, we need a change. And the height of the board's ambition, Tony, is Anil, Strachan, Keane, so it's pick your poison. I'd rather see what happened with Ange than go down that road, but how long?
I mean, the guy obviously needs a certain calibre of player to play this style of play, inverted fullbacks, and obviously you need your squad to be fit. But see if we're not going to back him, I don't see the point in it. I don't see the point in him staying. I mean, if I was him, I would walk away. I don't think he will, obviously, because this is probably as big a job as he ever's going to get. But
that plays into the whole thing I was saying about the board setting him up to fail. Is he should, because if we strip it right down, right, he's no first choice for the job. Celtic had a very, very public, tried to keep it private, but it was a very public pursuit of Eddie Howe all through fucking felt like the whole of 2021, right? And then this weird statement where he's no knocked his back, but we're not making him the manager either, which was fucking mental. And then this Aussie guy, and you get the slow charm offensive where you've all these Aussies telling us he's a genius, nobody's heard him, and then you've got a few of us, obviously Melbourne and that, he knows a bit about him, said it's fucking nowhere near it. He comes in, Mackay and all that, everything, and like, fuck it, what was that? What is it? In 5 minutes it'll be the 1st October. Mackay's already left Celtic, and people are trying to blame the manager for this when the club's a fucking mess to begin with. How can we be successful on the park when after park it's a fucking mess? It's like, I think Postecoglou shouldn't be there. He should never be the Celtic manager, but he is, and we all want him to do as well as he can do. But you say you would walk, Tony. I'm inclined to agree, but it would bring into that narrative that he wasn't up to it, and Mackay's, I don't know.
But that's it. I mean, I think that, but maybe that. But I think if he walked, for example, surely that must turn more attention to the board. Where you go, that's Lennon, Mackay, and Postecoglou, 3 appointments in the space of 2 and a bit years that are of extreme importance to the welfare of the club, that they've balls. So,
but how many people just say he's a shite bag and no a real Celtic man?
I don't know. Hopefully, not too many. I would like to. I would like to think people are really just saying that the board are the major issue here, because I mean the guy told you sell that I'm not obviously doing a good job of convincing people that I need signings. I mean, we went for Sean Rooney, wouldn't he pay the money, gave Ralston a new deal. But this is the same board that wouldn't give Rodgers, Castagna, McGinn. We've covered that. And then obviously look what it's kind of led us to. I mean, I just don't understand it. You would think the board would be desperate to win the 30 million kind of jackpot prize at the end of the season if they won the league, but they seem kind of determined just to kind of wind up the fans and agitate them and irritate them and antagonise. So I just think I'm starting to look at it now. I think we'll win on Sunday. Actually, I know we'll get to predictions, but I think I like Jota. By the way, I meant to bring that up. I thought he did a good game. I really enjoyed watching him. I think I like Jota, Kyogo, Abada, McGregor, Turnbull, Rogic, and then the back four and the keeper are good enough to beat most teams in Scotland if that's your first team. But when it comes to games against Rangers, you're soft as shite. You're not able to really press fully. You're not strong, and that's where you lose leagues. Even is that team good enough to go to 11-1? I don't know. Would Kyogo and McGregor make that big a difference? Maybe not. And then Europe, I think I'll be delighted if we can put Ferencváros to the third spot and fall into the conference. I think that's where we are. Leverkusen are light years ahead, and I think Betis are a superior team as well, and probably again a superior run club. So, it's just been a kind of continuation of last season where the results in the past aren't great. I don't know what Andy's record is now. The last game, you can obviously stop it whenever you like, but I think he's only won 2 games at the last maybe 7 or 8, which isn't good enough. And it wasn't good enough when Lennon went 2-12. But I just think the circumstances are really different this time in terms of, I think Lennon had a great load of players at his disposal, and doesn't he? But I mean, I think we'll probably get in the circles. It's starting to feel a wee bit like last season. And I just at this moment in time, I don't see how Postecoglou manages to improve things. I think he'll probably get fed up as well. There's already, I know a lot of guys that want him to get sacked already, and obviously last season we all went bananas and people enjoyed it and had a bit of a laugh or something. But we're just getting a wee bit bored of it now. I'm not going to sit and shout and ball and call people or call the manager naughty names, but I just think the guy's been absolutely. I think he's been duped enough. I think he's been duped as much as anybody. That he was coming into this club that was forward thinking, and we're the first thing for it. I mean, you think the guys we were talking about bringing in, Rangnick, your man Fergal Harkin from Man City. We even spoke to the guy David Webb, who was really well spoken and really knowledgeable about football. Eddie Howe. We were thinking about bringing these people in, and we're going to do this big rebuild. I mean, you look at it; it's been pretty embarrassing, in the whole. But I think we're getting what we deserve because of the owner we have. I think he deserves to see us lose because he's an idiot, and he really needs ousted as quickly as possible. And there needs to be new people in the board. The board are just they're been there for so long. They don't know what's going on. They don't communicate. They just kind of take your money and get on with it, and it's not good enough. And I think again it'll come up probably as the season goes on. Will you do renew next season and stuff like that? And if this season ends with this kind of, we've no back to manager, we've not won the league, and we don't seem to have a clear plan, I don't know how you sell that to people, to be totally honest. But aye, it's a real laugh coming on here as always. But I don't really have anything else to add. I think all we need to do at the minute is win on Sunday and then take it from there. Things will calm down, and hopefully the manager's given the time to kind of work over the international players with the international break with the players that aren't away, and hopefully builds on it. But I don't know. I think there's something far wrong. There definitely is. There's something far wrong at the club. And it's evident, and I still can't believe Mackay left. Sometimes I'll be sitting there, I'll be looking at I sit right across for the kind of corporate seats, and I go, fuck, he left, didn't he? It's just, One minute he's in the phone to you telling you all these great ideas, and next minute he's clueless and we had to get rid of him.
There you go, children. Start a podcast and you get a seat next to the directors.
No, I says across, as in across and up. I'm in the North stand-upper. So, no.
Fucking stop lying. You and Mackay were nodding at each other.
Tony making it as if he's one of the punters there, do you hear that?
He'd annoying nod with Mackay.
Get my good pal Mackay, and I'm missing my free bevy before the game. This is a fucking joke. I don't have anything else to add. I think we'll win 2-0 on Sunday. There's my prediction. I'm going ahead because I'm getting bored.
That's fair, there's Tony. In and out. But as he was rambling on, Danny, I was still just thinking about luxury football players. I've accumulated quite a list. I'll send you after the pod. But
please,
what a list I'm building, by the way.
Do you know what I was doing through the game? This is getting off on a tangent, but Joe Venglos said about Moravchik Larsen years ago, right? That every good team that becomes a great team is 3 world-class players in it. Are 3 players that they shouldn't have, basically. And then great teams become world-class teams and good teams. And I was thinking we've got Kyogo, McGregor, and I don't think we've got another, but that's for another debate. But aye,
I've got some belters in this list. Just you hate to hear me waxing lyrical about fucking Mario Götze at Dortmund and Pirlo at Juve. But back on the Celtic here. I don't know. Tony covered a lot there, and he was saying that he feels like basically, I don't know if it was if he was saying that we wouldn't really turn this round. No, granted, last results have been fucking piss poor. I think in the last, I don't know, fucking 8 games maybe. If memory serves me right, I think we've won 2 of the last 8, drawn 1. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's just about right. No, I completely agree. Not good enough. Celtic, you can. That just doesn't happen at Celtic. You don't get time at Celtic. All the rest, right? I don't need to fucking preach this to you. But a massive factor in that, who I think anybody would be foolish to disagree with, would be injuries have plagued us. Now, Andrew's out after the game. He said we don't have the squad to cope with injuries like that. Said we're thin and all the rest of it. Now, on the game of the day, Kyogo came back. Didn't strike me as a player that was struggling for any sort of match fitness or anything like that. Same could be said for McGregor. I think they were both brought off wisely. I completely agreed with the decision. I heard people in the crowd moaning about it, which I'll never understand. You're 3-0 down. Get them off, get them bubble wrapped, and get them fucking fit to make sure they can play at the weekend in a massive game. Don't get me wrong, I think if we had any more injuries to that extent, big trouble. But for me, I'm moving into Sunday thinking, right, okay, this game, listen, done, dusted. I didn't have it done as any points. Get into it sort of this morning when I woke up, but I'm starting to fancy my chances because I think the chances we created, as I said earlier, we're not going to play a team with the quality that they've got. Like, looking at our starting 11, I would fancy us to beat the remainder of the league, if I'm being brutally honest, once we're on it. And I think getting the players back, you'll start to see us hopefully screw the nut again, because I know they've got it in them. But I don't know, do you disagree with that? I just think that once Keel goes back and if he starts again on Sunday, I just think we're a different animal when he's there.
Definitely, and you've seen that within 2 minutes the night, that the difference Kyogo makes compared to having like a Jetty up front or whatever. But I think it just goes back to a lot about what we say is against Dundee United and against Livingston. It's all right saying, oh, I've got injuries and that, but every manager in the league would prefer it a squad, of course, and it should be capable of beating every team in the league pretty much. But I'm very confident about Sunday. I wasn't, and then like it sounds ridiculous saying it after a 4-0 defeat, but I seen enough tonight to just sort of garner some hope that we have got that going. As you say, I thought McGregor played well. I thought Kyogo played well. Obviously, Giakoumakis even made his debut tonight, came off the bench. Good to get him some minutes. What Tony says as well, I completely agree about Jota. I think he looks great. I think he gave Frimpong a bit of a torrid time tonight. I know on another day he might have had his own, he's got a goal tonight, but at the same time it was a inspired keeper. But I think the simple fact is we need to go up there and win. I don't think a draw would be even good enough. I think if people are looking on Twitter or social media or fan forums, wherever they're looking, if they think there's pressure on Ange now, if we go to Pittodrie on Sunday and don't win, then the pressure's right on. Like, there's a lot, what it says in this episode that I agree with. Like, I think a lot of people are hurt from last season, and like, as we said, we were early on wanting rid of Lennon, and we thought it went way too long. Well, like, as much as we're behind Ange, you're going to have people who are in a similar position to where we were this time last season, where if Ange doesn't win on Sunday, they're going to use that and say, oh, you've got an international break, now's the time to make a change. Like, 12 months ago, we were calling for things like that when it was international breaks, but I'm hopeful that we can go up there and win. I've seen Aberdeen against St Mirren on Sunday. I thought they looked all right. I know they got a red card and eventually lost the game 3-2, but I think a game up at Pittodrie, you're always going to get given a good game. Obviously, you've got guys like Scott Brown up there now. You've got Lewis Ferguson, McCrory, and a few other good players up there who are going to make sure that Celtic don't get it all their own way. But I think we'll be fine. I think, especially with the front four we go with, I'm pretty confident we will go there and win, Andy. And I think it's a good one. I think everybody's very stressed at the moment. I think if we can go up there and get a win on Sunday, it'd be perfect. Getting into the international break, just take a bit of pressure off the team, off the manager, and sort of just take stock of where we are in the league and where we need to go in the next phase, because it's just, I think the point that was made earlier was spot on about, like, people are just letting out frustration that they couldn't last season when you were watching it on a delayed stream. Like, it's just like having that outlet now is just amplifying everything, and everybody wants the trophies that we lost last season back at Celtic Park, and it's got to happen at some point, and obviously people hope it'll be this season. We do, of course, and I think it's just a big one, but I'm very confident, Andy. I think Aberdeen have pretty poor form as well, and I think we'll be able to take advantage of it.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm conscious of people taking this as that I'm taking massive positives away, or we're taking massive positives away for the game. I don't think we can, but I'm just trying not to get sort of overwhelmed or overburdened or even look at this game in isolation. Danny, I mean, what about you? Like, as I said before, like, the game, you were playing a top side, and we've discussed that a lot of the goals that they scored came through errors. Like, we were in worst enemy, as Celtic always are at times, and I think that these are things that you can improve on. But I don't know whether it's that, listen, there is always more margin for error when you play teams in Scotland, because they're not that quality. That's the simple reality. But I think that we've got quality in our side, and I know now people are starting to say, oh, Ange ball this and it's not this, and you can't do that, and there's people having a go at defenders and keepers and try to pass out and all this other fucking shite, right? But these are the same people I've seen that were praising it for a high heavens when we were gubbing people 6-0 and playing this wonderful expansive football. And I think that's where I'm sort of coming from, Danny. Like, we did create chances tonight. There was world class saves with their keeper. There was parts where, like, I was really disappointed with a lot of phases here, but there was some portions of the game I'm thinking we've got the squad if we keep people fit, and if we play to our strengths. We've got the squad to go to Pittodrie and win. We've got the squad to beat anybody in this league, and I think that's what I'm sort of trying to get at, Danny. And I think that's why I'm with sort of Dan there. I think we go to Pittodrie and I think we win at the weekend.
I agree. That thing about not taking positives for the game, how can you take a positive for a 4-0 defeat at home? You can't, but let's be honest. If we play like that we did tonight, and we only make, say, half the amount of mistakes, then we'll win quite comfortably. If we play like that, it's alright saying on one horn we've not got the squad, and then the other horn you're saying we do have the squad, but you see the difference Kyogo and McGregor makes. Kyogo especially, there was a buzz about the front three, the movement Kyogo for the both chances that he had in the first half, just fucking, you're not getting that for a Yeti, right? We know a Yeti's not that kind of player, but you just see the difference when Kyogo's in the team. So of course, if he's fit for Sunday, you go in confident. As I say, we played. It's you need to look by a scoreline sometimes. It's no nice to get beat 4-0. Of course, it's no, and we'd all rather win 4-0 than get beat 4-0. But you'd need to be fairly cold-blooded not to see something there tonight for Celtic. No for long enough, of course. And made the same mistakes and the same problems, but going forward, we're dangerous. And Aberdeen will only have Hidreki in goal on Sunday, so that's a plus. I mean, we should be good for a few goals. I think if we play like that, we'll win quite easily. Postecoglou needs a statement win. He needs a win, whether it's a 1-0, a Yeti's arse, or a 6-0 with, Yakimakis getting a hat-trick. He needs a statement win as a Celtic manager. He's not really got one yet. He's beat a couple of teams, of course. When we beat them, we get told, you're only beating all the shite. Well, you need to beat these teams to win the league. So, last couple of weeks hasn't been great. We were unlucky last week. Wasn't very inspiring, but we hit the bar 3 times. How the fuck is that no unlucky? He needs a big win. He needs a big win. He needs to go away from home and win. Pittodrie's the perfect place to go and do it. We were very poor at Pittodrie twice last year. And it always seems to be mad scores at Pittodrie. There's fucking 3 each. I think we beat them 4-3 a couple of years ago. So there's been a 4 each there as well. So it'll be Aberdeen are tough to beat. I don't think they're great. I thought they were quite poor last week, which I seen of them against St Mirren. Brown's obviously there. That'll add an awful lot to it. He'll be up for it. Listen, he'll probably play really well. He'll probably turn in his best domestic performance in a couple of years. But do you know what? Whatever the optimist, but I'm going to put my neck out here. And I said it last year, and you will remember when we went to Pittodrie under Lennon. I said this is where he needs the response. If we don't get it, the season's a bogey. Burnley is good this year, so I wouldn't be calling the season yet, but this is where Postecoglou gets the big statement win. This is the response on Sunday. And do you know what? I'm really looking forward to it. I'm off for next week, so I'll be getting a bottle in for it. And if whatever way it goes, I'll be going the other.
Aye. I'm the same. I really do believe that we go there and win it Sunday. But you, Dan, I'll stick my neck out. I think we're going to win 3-0. I don't think they're a great team, and it's just even. It's probably just okay. We'll go. That guy just fucking infects me with positivity anytime I see him play. I fucking love him. But Dan, we'll come to you for a prediction. I think we'll win 3-0. If I'm being completely honest, but they're not a great side, and we've got to get that sort of away game monkey off our back, if you like. And Andrew's the type of guy that's going to let this sort of get to him, and he was even sort of like late on in the game today, he was still demanding 100% for the players, and I think that's going to shine through. And Danny's right, they're not going to have Brad Kane go to make these saves, and they're not going to have fucking a front line that Bayer Leverkusen have got, and I really do think that we can crank it up and slowly but surely start sort of turning the key, if you like, and there's more to come. Julian's got to come back. Juranovic has got to come in again a day, and I think this can hopefully touch with all the rest of it. Fucking whatever else superstitious shit you want to do. Injuries stay the fuck out of the team, and this can be the start of Celtic hopefully moving in the right direction. But I'm not ready to throw in the towel just yet, like a lot of people have done.
No, Andy, as I said, I fully expect Celtic to go up there and win. I think we'll win relatively comfortably. I think the score will be 4-1. I think Kyogo's going to get a double. I think Jota will go on the score sheet, and I think Callum McGregor will go on the score sheet as well. I think he'll make up for that terrible penalty he gave away at Pittodrie last season be sealing the victory in style for Ange. But aye, that'll be my prediction, Andy. 4-1 for Celtic.
Hope you're right, Danny. You want anything to add on the prediction?
Aye, I think it'll be a mad game. I think it'll be 4-3 to Celtic. Topsy-turvy. But I think Celtic... No. Aye, I'll say it'll be like... We'll score 4. I don't know how many we'll concede, but we'll score 4. And Yakimakis, the lockdown Larson will get 2.
I know everybody that's listening to this show's been waiting right on the edge, just waiting in a Danny name for the Greek Yakimakis, as you coined him. But unless anybody else is getting to add, I'll either two years come up with another luxury football player in this time before we wrap things up. That'll be a swift no, but I will raise you as Zlatan Ibrahimovic, and that's a parting thought. And just for listening.
A what?
Zlatan Ibrahimovic, come on.
Fucking hell, you two can start your own podcast about this.
Oh, aye.
I got my eyes on you, and you postcard blue. I want your hot love and emotion endlessly. We can't get over you, and you postcard glue. I want your hot love and emotion endlessly. Cause you're a fiend and you know it. Angie, you're better than Eddie Howe to me. Angie. All the history, you know it. You're saying Furu Haji. Here we go, one on a roll. Here we go, one on